All right, welcome guys. In our last module, we talked about what is graphic design, the principles of graphic design, types of graphic design. Now we'll be talking about the Photoshop interface. We are going straight to Photoshop. For this training, we'll be making use of the Photoshop software for this training. Okay, so I just launched my Photoshop. So at the first launch of your Photoshop, you would see something like this. You would see something like this. Okay? Now, do not panic. When you open your Photoshop for the first time, you will likely not see any this down part here that you are seeing some designs. It would be blank. Okay? You may not see any design here because you are opening Photoshop for the first time. Okay? So when you open Photoshop, you will see create new and open. Create new, when you click on create new, it means you are starting a new document. You want to start a design, a new job. Okay? Then when you click on open, open means you are opening an existing document, an existing Photoshop document that you have already saved. Maybe I want to open any of this design now. When I click on open, it will take me to my files, my Photoshop files where I save them. Okay? So that's what it will do. So, but I'm not clicking on that. I'm assuming this is our first time, and this is my first time of using Photoshop. So when I click on create new, I will see this. When you click on create new, you would see this layer will come up. So I'll briefly explain what we have here and also this area. Okay. Photoshop as a software have pre-existing sizes or dimension. Before you start any design, you have to give that design a dimension or size. It's like you want to make a cloth. The fashion designer has to measure your body length, your trouser length and stuffs like that. That is how it is with design. Before you start a design job, you have to give it a dimension. Okay? You have to give it a size, the size your design job would take. So this is where you set your design dimension before you start the main design. I hope this is understood. So Photoshop has pre-existing dimension already. You can see all these are dimension on Photoshop. When I continue clicking here, these are dimension I could use. You can see it for print. When I click for print, there are so many dimensions here. You see the A4 size, which is the standard dimension for poster designs. Sorry, yes, poster designs. Then A5 is for flyers. There are so many dimensions here. These are pre-existing dimensions that comes automatically with Photoshop. So if what you are designing, these dimension are what you would use, you can go ahead with them. Okay? There are so many dimensions here that you can make use of. Art and illustration, these are dimensions. Web, these are dimensions. So it depends on what you want to design. If you have a knowledge of the dimension you are using, you would choose from here. But if you don't, you have to set your own dimension. Okay? You have to set your own dimension. Now, I've explained this area. You see this place called preset details. This is where you set your dimension, the name of your file, the name of your job. you name it. Okay, so from here I can say first design. Okay, so you have named your design. Is that understood? Then this is where give you put your dimension. Photoshop, when you click here, these are unit of measurements available in Photoshop: the pixels, the inches, the centimeters, the millimeters, the point and picas. Okay, so for example, you are to design an A4 A5 flyer, and the standard dimension for A5 flyer is 8.5 by 11 inches. When you browse on Google, the standard dimension is 8.5. The when you A5 in inches is 8.5 by 11 inches. 8.5 by 11 inches. So that's the standard, that's the A5 size in inches. So this unit of measurement here you are seeing, if I click on pixels, is the same thing. This 612 by 792 is the same thing as 8.5 by 11 inches. It's just the change of the unit of measurement. Is that understood? When I click on centimeters too, this value you are seeing here is also the same thing. When I go to inches, you can see 8.5 by 11 inches is equals to this in centimeters, is equals to this in millimeters, is equals to this in points, and is equals to this in picas. Is that understood? Okay. So for example, you are to design a banner now of 5 by 4 feet. You can see that Photoshop does not have feet. So what do? You convert 5 by 4 feet into pixels. Is that understood? You go online on Google and type convert 5 by 4 feet to pixels. So when you get the value, you come to pixels and you impute the value. For example, 5 feet is 5,000 pixels. You put 5,000 here. Then 4,000, 4 feet, which is the height, you put 4,000 here. So this is conversion, simple conversion we do. Okay. So now we are going with the 8.5 inch by 11 inches, which is the A5 size. Okay. So I'll leave it at this inches. Then for resolution, if your PC is high end, for example, you have a very high RAM like 16 gig RAM, 32 gig RAM, your PC is a very high end PC. You leave your resolution as 300, you take it to 300, okay? And if you're also printing your job, for example, the design you are doing, you print it, and also your PC is a high-end PC, you take it to 300. But if your PC is not a high-end PC, for example, is 2 gig RAM or 4 gig RAM, it's advisable you take it to 100, okay? To avoid your system, so that your system would not hang when you are designing. Okay, so I'll leave mine at 300. Then for this, you leave this thing as it is here. All right. Then color mode. Color mode. When you click on your own, you see other values that will come up here. You see RGB, you see CMYK, and all that. So my design, I'm not going to print. If I'm not printing this work, I will leave my color mode at RGB. But if I'm to print this work, I don't know why this my system is not showing the other values here. So when you click on yours, you will see other color mode. You see CMYK. So if you are to use CMYK, it means that you are printing your work. So you take it to CMYK. Okay, CMYK is the color mode that our printers understand. So if you are to print your work after designing, you take it to CMYK. Alright? But if your design is just for online use, if your design is just for online use, you leave it at RGB. Okay? The difference is that when it is at RGB and you finish designing a work and you go and print it out, there's some likelihood that the printed work, the color may differ from the one on your phone or on your laptop because of the color mode, because our printers understand the CMYK color mode. So it's better to leave, if you are printing it out, you take your color mode to CMYK. But if you are not, you leave it at RGB. Okay, that's that for the color mode. Every other thing here, you leave it the way it is. All right. So this, I've explained this. When you want to start a new document, you click on create new, you get to this area, then you set up this. Okay, thank you. In our next module, we'll now talk about the Photoshop tools. When you click on create, it will load and this will come up. All right, this will come up. So in our next module, we'll talk about these tools you are seeing here. Okay, so don't be afraid. Don't be looking at these things as if they are cumbersome. They are very easy to understand. Just follow me as I explain them. So see you in our next module. Thank you.